Remember the days of riding your grandpa's Schwinn? That POS? The friggin' one-piece chromoly crank and the janky friction shifting? Well, this ain't that. Let's get on topic. Hey everybody, it's Thomas with Get Out Arizona, and you are watching another episode of Toolbox Topic. I'm here today with my co-host Brandon Van Leuven. Brandon, how the hell are you?
I'm great, thank you.
Awesome. Today we are going to be talking about drivetrains.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
All right.
Yes, guys, we're going to be talking about today drivetrains today, and like I alluded to in the intro, this is not your grandfather's Schwinn. This stuff is high-tech, and drivetrains have come such a long way from when I started riding bikes at the age of 18. Brandon, you've been riding just as long as I have, from where we went from friction shifting, really starting to dial in the index shifting where you had it on the down tube, or in the case of a mountain bike, you had it up on the thumb shifter with the Deore DX and XT type stuff. Derailleurs have come a long way. The chains, the technology into the bottom brackets, your cassettes, your freewheels, everything has changed immensely for the better. Just like we've talked about with other things as far as bikes and technology, the progression seemed to really skyrocket up for a while and then tapered off, but now we're seeing it increase again, almost at an exponential rate. Now this next series of videos, which are going to be 4 in total, today's being the first one, we're going to introduce you to the different parts of the drivetrain, some of the subtle differences and nuances of the different parts, the similarities between road and bike and the differences. And then we're going to do a series of videos on how to maintenance all these different areas. We're going to start at the front of the bike with the shifters and then work our way to the central part of the bike where you have your cranks, your front derailleur if your bike is equipped with one, and your bottom bracket. And then we're going to come to the rear end of the bike where we have the rear derailleur, your cassette or your free hubs, and the chain. It's going to be great. You guys are going to learn a lot. You will probably be entertained because it's me and Brandon, and if we're not drunk, we're high on smack, so it's never a dull moment, right?
It is a Friday.
It is a Friday, that's right. Usually we do these on Thursday, but it's a Friday, so the strippers and the blow should be here anytime now. So, yeah. The pole and the fog machine, no, I'm joking. That's in the back room, actually. So, all right, Brandon, enough with the jokes. You friggin' prankster, you. Let's go ahead and get started, and let's start at, well, first let's talk about the differences, you know, and how that technology has increased over the years.
Yeah, for sure. And you made a good point. This is just a very small sampling. This is just the tip of the iceberg as far as what's available out there, the different combinations that you can use. These are just kind of the common parts that we're going to see right now.
Okay.
But for every part you see here, there's probably 10 or 20 just like it that are different quality, different prices, and different flashiness, shall we say.
That's true.
So.
There's a lot of custom manufacturers out there these days. So.
Yeah, so start from the front?
Yeah, let's start from the front.
Yeah,
let's start with the shifters.
Yeah, so these are just a couple of examples of our shifters. We have the road shifter. As opposed to years ago that you might have alluded to as well as we had that friction shifter that was on the down tube.
Right.
Had to take your hand off the handlebar, off the brake, and reach down and make your shift changes. Our new shifters for our road bikes are now integrated. This one happens to be the Shimano system. We do have the brake, and then the shift is integrated into the brake lever.
Right.
A very complex, a very high-tech little system inside there. But it's made everything so much better. Being able just to have everything right at our hands, don't have to take our hands off the bar, it's fantastic.
Absolutely.
It's great. And we'll see this in SRAM, we'll see this in Campy. The way they actuate, the way the systems work are a little bit different, but they're all fairly same in their, integration.
Yeah, yeah, the concept's definitely the same.
The mountain bike stuff, it's been around kind of for a while now. This underbar, push-only or pull-only system. This one happens to be a Shimano XT. This sits underneath the bar, and again, you talked about the overbar shifter that was before. This has made things a little bit easier. It's more ergonomic, where we're using our thumb to produce the shifting, and yeah.
It's more ergonomic, except when you take it to the bike shop and they maintenance your stuff, and then they don't actually put it back to where you had it, and then when you go out for a ride, you realize that couple degrees is
That
off.
didn't happen.
I got to give them a hassle. So But yes, and that design really hasn't changed, because I remember initially from that thumb shifter, it went to the Shimano called it the rapid fire shifting.
Correct.
And for Suntour for a while, when they were still making components, had their version of the rapid fire,
Right.
where you could just really sling from your low gear to your high gear in one shift.
And let's not discount also that little window of SRAM having the twist shifters.
Yes, the twist shifters.
We do see the twist shifters still in our more budget bike, shall we say? But as far as the real high performance, we rarely see the twist shifter
Yeah, the twist
anymore.
shifters. Oh God, that was like having a kid and realizing it was a ginger. Okay, it wasn't. Sorry. I love you, gingers, even though you don't have a soul. No, I'm joking. All right, let's continue before I really get off the rails here. All right, so we got the shifters. So now let's move to the center part of the bike, where we have our cranks, our bottom bracket, and soon to be a relic, only seen in the Smithsonian, our front derailleur system.
Yep. Let's start with that crank and bottom bracket area. Okay. Two examples that I just happen to have that are new in the closet, I brought out. The first one we'll start with is the square taper. This is a 3-piece system. The cranks go on and just get tightened on this square taper. It just pretty much presses on there, and this is your bottom bracket for that system. The bottom bracket used to be just like these open balls inside a cup. Now this is an improvement from that. We rarely see that open ball concept anymore. This is going to be this thread-in, self-contained cartridge bearing that when it goes bad, we just toss it out, throw a new one in. It's way better. It holds its longevity much longer than that open ball system, and it's easier to maintain.
Right.
On the more sophisticated side, we have the 2-piece. This one happens to be a Shimano Holotech, but you'll see the same kind of principle in both FSA cranks, Campy, and SRAM. So instead of having that square taper bottom bracket, the spindle is now integrated into the crank and the bottom bracket. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
And the bottom bracket is its own separate piece.
He claims to be the innocent one, and he's told me that from day one, and I know he's full of shit. And I'm wondering if it's just because I'm already on the dark side of the force, and I've slowly been turning him.
Well, yeah, you take it to another level, but that's all right.
It's all right. We like it.
But this we'll see on our higher end bikes, our more sophisticated bikes. This is what's current right now. This is the Holotech.
You and I have had the off conversation here at the bike shop and everything like that, where you have some things are universal and some aren't and just never will be. Do you feel that maybe in the next 3 to 5 years that you'll see a push in the industry to make a universal style bottom bracket, or are we still going to be stuck with just the different factions and the splintering of the part
itself?
It
would make our job a lot easier if there was a standard. At this time, we have a poster in the back that probably shows 40 different bottom brackets for the combination of both the crank set and the bike bottom bracket shell.
Right.
It's super complicated. That's a lot of what we do now, is do our research and make sure that when we're replacing parts or servicing them, that they're compatible with each other.
Gotcha.
I hope they make a standard. I don't see it happening. Everybody has to have everyone has to have their thing.
Everybody thinks they're the cool kid, including me, even though I'm not. So.
Yep.
All right. This is going the way of the dodo.
That poor guy.
Yeah. Now, I know when I came in back last May, and I've been a customer here for quite some time, but I really started getting back into the biking and taking it more seriously again. My mountain bike had a front derailleur, and I was running a triple. Now, it's no front derailleur. It's a 1x with a 12-speed cassette in the back, and even gravel bikes are starting to go 1x. Yeah. You still see the front derailleur on a lot of road bikes.
Road bikes
but,
still, yes.
What do you think? A matter of time before they figure out the gearing and that goes?
I think that would be super cool. 1x is awesome. It simplifies the drivetrain system. It's more efficient, because what we typically have to do is when we start reaching a certain point in our rear cassette or our front, we need to make what's called recovery shifts.
Right.
So if I dump my gears to my climbing gear in the front on my road bike, I need to do a couple recovery shifts in the back to a higher gear, so my cadence just doesn't go off the rails and you start spinning out. So that eliminates the need for a recovery shift. And once again, we have less things to break, less things to go wrong.
Right.
Lightens up our bike. 1x is cool.
Yeah, but for now, these are still an intricate part of the drivetrain system. So we'll definitely be talking about these in episodes coming. Maintenance, do's and don'ts, and how they can sometimes be a pain in the butt, especially when they go out of whack and you overshift and your chain drops and so yeah. Chains, let's talk about chains, man. They have actually come a long way as well. They used to be these janky, heavy things you'd wrap around your fist before you beat the hell out of somebody, and now it's a precision piece of machinery.
They're getting lighter. They are getting more elegant,
more expensive
all the time.
too.
They got some super sweet coatings on them,
right?
They are getting better, and that has to do a lot with the new drivetrains that are coming. Those one-by drivetrains, they have to be skinnier to accommodate so many gears in the same amount of space that used to be 8, 9, 10 gears. So the chains are getting not only narrower, but also our coatings are getting better. They have like these, for lack of a better term, like a Teflon coating that would not only reduce the chance of corrosion, but also it's a kind of a slick coating that helps the shifts be smoother.
Okay,
it's pretty cool.
All right, on. All right, so now I guess we'll talk about rear derailleur, and then we'll talk about the rear cassettes and everything like that. So the rear derailleurs, man, these things have come a long way too. Now you see they have clutches in them, they have oversized pulleys. Even the ones for the road bikes almost look like the ones for the mountain bikes now. So in the rear derailleurs, where have we seen technology change, and where do you see it going?
Really seeing... I see everything at some point being electronified.
Okay.
So right now SRAM has their...
Did you just say electronified?
I did. I kind of made that up. I'll do what I want. This is my show too.
No, it's my show, motherfucker. All right. So anyways, forget the verbiage and we'll just keep moving on.
So,
okay.
Yeah, at some point we're going to see everything go electric.
Okay.
You like that better?
SRAM
has their system. They have their ETAP system.
They do.
Shimano has their Di2 system. At this time, SRAM is kind of leading the way with their electronic, non-wired system, whereas Shimano has a bit more complexity where everything is still connected via E-tubes on there. But I imagine they'll probably go wireless here sometime soon. So someday, I think everything will be electronic. The price points come down every year and go down to lower and lower spec bikes, but for now we're still going to deal with cables, and we're going to deal with guys like this, cable actuated. But you'll notice, like you were saying, the cages are super long because we have 12 speeds in the back. We have huge low gear on these things, and in order to clear those low gears, we need that big cage to get underneath them.
Yeah, and SRAM, just a little side note, SRAM really has led the way in that that e-revolution as far as shifting. They're on their 5th generation right now, 2nd generation on the shifters. I know because I'm getting ready to purchase a set for my mountain bike.
They are killing it.
I do have the Reverb wireless dropper post, and they're just as durable by all accounts. Everything I've read and people that I've talked to said they just beat the hell out of it, and there's really no difference other than the precision and the shifting. It's absolutely amazing. So
they are still rather expensive, so when you do dump them, it's gonna...
$800 for the rear derailleur, and that doesn't include the cost of the battery. So, and that's just for the derailleur, not the shifter, folks. So it's definitely not for the faint of heart. But if you're kind of a tech nerd like me that has a full digital cockpit on their mountain bike and road bike, it's right up your alley. So that'll be really cool over the next couple years to see where that goes, and we'll be sure to talk about that. I wouldn't call it emerging technology anymore since it's here and it's in our face, but we'll be sure to talk about it and bring you guys up to speed as we learn more in the coming years.
Super cool stuff.
Months. So, all right, so let's talk about cassettes. Now, I remember back in the day, now you put a zip tie on this one because, you know, I would have just dropped it everywhere. This is what it was. You had individual gears that you would line up on your rear hub, and you had some flexibility on the gearing that you choose, although it still had to, you know, work and make sense. And now we've gone to this bad mamba jamba dinner plate. You know, I guess you could use it as an axe if you wanted to, if you were, you know, marooned or stranded in a strange world. And then you have the traditional freewheel.
Traditional freewheel.
What's the quick difference between these setups? Just because I know some people get confused. You know, they call everything a cassette, and that's not really the case.
That's true, and that is not true at all. So the freewheel is kind of our low-tech guy here, a low-tech piece of equipment. The freewheel has everything contained. It's all one piece, and the ratcheting system that spins and engages is all self-contained in this one piece, and that piece will thread onto the hub. This particular hub is a freewheel type hub, and you'll see the threads on there. This guy spins on there, and that's it. When these guys go bad or start to make weird noises, whole thing, we toss them, we chuck them, and replace them. Now, if we go to our cassette, this is still very, very common, very prevalent. It's still get high-end cassettes, really nice stuff. The cassette has a number of different grooves on there, and those grooves correspond to a free hub body. So now the ratcheting and engagement system is part of the hub. And these guys, via the grooves, will go on to these guys, slip on there, and you tighten them down with the lock ring. So this is probably still the most common interface for having the cassette and the free hub body. That's a hybrid kind of the two.
Right.
It's all one piece, but it goes on to what we now call a driver.
A driver, right.
And the driver is similar to the free hub body, except for the free hub body looks like a thread-on freewheel piece. So they've kind of merged those two principles and made them into a new technology. It's light.
Super lightweight.
It's super
this
light.
Is a lot lighter than what you would expect.
It's high tech, and I would assume that's the way things are probably going to go here in the near future. Shimano still does a push-on system with grooves, but it's mostly contained like that. I think of them, maybe 10 out of the 12. You have to check me on that.
Right.
Are all one piece.
Right. And you should note that if you have Shimano, you're not just going to throw a SRAM one on there. It just again won't play nice with one another.
Compatibility
The compatibility issue,
is a big thing.
And this one is 500% efficiency. SRAM actually makes another one that's 520% efficiency. I know because once a week I'm on their page researching and everything, so I can pick out the proper one for myself. But yeah, it's definitely come a long way. This is
much
not
stuff.
the Nishiki Prestige I had when I was 18, 30 years ago, and the mix of Ultegra 105 group that I had on there. And as nice as that bike was for the time, well, it really wasn't, but it was what it was. It doesn't even come close to comparing, to the technology that we have today.
Every year the technology just, advances by leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
All kinds of new stuff every year.
Absolutely.
It's pretty cool.
So now going forward, guys, we are going to do additional videos. So you'll see this one that you've just watched. Our next video, we're going to start with the shifters, and then we're going to work our way to the middle, which we're talking about the front derailleur, the crank, and the bottom bracket. And then the next video, we're going to talk about the rear derailleur, the rear cassette, and the chain. And these are going to be from a serviceability standpoint. We're going to show you some maintenance tips. We're going to show you how to maintenance and adjust these different aspects of the drivetrain. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And hopefully you guys, even if you're knowledgeable, might go, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that. Or, oh, I'm going to give that a try. That seems like it'll work better. And for the beginning cyclist, it'll give you a good foundation to not only do some of the maintenance yourself at your home, or if you're out on the trail and something happens or on the road, you can, get yourself in a position to get back to your vehicle, or bring it in, if you're just like me, kind of like, I don't care. Good to know, but I'm still taking it to the bike shop. Because it's also an excuse for me to come here, hang out.
Yeah.
Where's all the bikes? Haven't you got any new bikes yet? Yeah, it's a different story for a different day. And even though we tend to talk a lot about the high-end stuff, you need to know that Shimano and SRAM both offer a variety of group sets, from entry level to, yes, very high-line pristine set. Campanello, which we won't talk about as much, is an Italian company that has always made upper echelon groups. You get what you pay for, and they are beautiful. What was that, the Campy C record back in the old roadie days?
They still make record carbon, I believe.
It was a gorgeous set. Was that like $4,500, $5,000 for that set, I think? Something like that?
I'm not even sure. I never even looked.
Right. Why bother? So we're going to talk about, and so primarily be Shimano and SRAM. And I wouldn't say that one is superior than the other. They both have their pros and cons, but like Brandon alluded to, as far as the e-shifting goes, I think SRAM does have the edge because they have been all in for the last few years, and they really dumped a lot of R&D to progress that method of shifting and bringing that into the future. So Brandon, this is great information.
We're just starting with this stuff, man. It's going to be good.
We're just getting started. So guys, we know that you have a choice, but you choose to keep coming back here. So we thank you for your support. Right, neither do I at this point. If you've liked what you've seen today, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button so you could see the episodes that are going to be coming up. And I'm almost healed from my injury this coming Tuesday. Today's January 29th, by the way. Today to next Tuesday, I'll be back on the trail. If you guys didn't see how this happened, check out the Fins video, Fantasy Island, where you see me pretty much rip off the fingernail.
Your reaction was appropriate.
Yeah, no, it was definitely appropriate. Although the doctor and the ER wouldn't let me video them putting it back on, but hey, I couldn't get it all, everything that I want. But definitely check that out. So I'll be back. So those trail videos are going to be coming back here within the next, I would say, 7 to 10 days if they're not already up already. So check those out. Brandon, thanks for joining us once again, man.
Always a good time.
I really appreciate it.
Good time.
Man, if you have any questions, follow the link down below to Check Bicycle West Phoenix. You can give Brandon or one of his guys a call if you anything that you've seen here. I'll also have links down below for Shimano, SRAM, and Campanello in case you want to look at the highlights.
Saucy.
Yeah, Maserati. Down below so you can check out the various groups that they have to offer. Maybe you're looking to upgrade a group. You watch these videos and you could kind of pick out the one that's most tailored to you. So, but until that time comes, guys, what do I always say? Be kind to yourself and others. Be great stewards on the trail. And I got to ask, what are you waiting for? Get out Arizona. Take care, guys. Thanks for the support. We'll see you on the next one. Brandon, thanks again, buddy.
Adios, amigo.
Have a good week. Take care, guys.